prisoners of war. Thank you. Secretary Billups, can I get a roll call, please? Thank you.
Counselor Heyman,
Here.
Counselor Blackwell. I'm sure she'll be here. Yep. Counselor Andruska,
Here.
Counselor Siddiq,
Present.
Counselor Faralia. Here. Counselor Silva,
Here.
President Burke,
Here.
Secretary Billups is here, Counselor Wagner,
Here.
Counselor Tunis,
Here.
Vice President Wentz,
Here.
and who do we have back there? Officer O'Gary. Hi. And we have, Mayor, are you on Zoom? Hello? Mayor, are you on Zoom? Okay. So the mayor is not here. We have Solicitor Richardson and Solicitor Colleen. Okay. You guys are funny. And we have the lovely Alexis, and we have our wonderful treasurer. Oh, you're lovely too. We have our treasurer, David Heyman, and then we have you guys, Upper Darby residents.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Rules of medium decorum. Upper Darby residents have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Residents are prohibited from making threats, using profanity, or acting in a manner that would impede or prevent the conduct of business of this meeting. Limited to the agenda for tonight. Thank you.
That's in the second section.
Yep, yep.
It's
So,
further down.
all right. Next up, I'm going to ask for approval of minutes for the committee meeting minutes of September 7th and approval of the special meeting minutes of September 14th.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, we have public forum. Public forum shall be limited to the special special meeting agenda items only, not to be repetitive, and be no more than 3 minutes per resident.
Okay, first we have John Barzari.
Good evening, John Bazzari, 353 Kirk's Lane. Here to talk about, one, I don't understand why we're at this point. So if that could be explained, why this special meeting is taking place when when a vote was already taken last week with regards to, the motion was made last week. But I know that the mayor has failed to take action on that motion. And she believes that under her authority, she's the only one that has the authority to dismiss the CAO, which, as you all know, according to the article, the homeroom charter, Article 5 speaks to the appointment and dismissal, and there's 3 parts to it. And nowhere in there do I see, and I'm not an attorney, do I see where those 3 individual parts, A, B, and C, are required to act together. It doesn't say and, it doesn't say or. And the one that we're talking about and talked about last week is section C, subsection C, around forfeiture. So I don't see where she believes that she has the sole authority to dismiss, and we need to get that done. Last week, I did ask her to please provide an explanation of what occurred, and her silence tells me That's an admission of the administration did do something that was against the home rule chart, a violation of the home rule charter, and I just support tonight's decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verzari.
Hold- Okay, next is Marion Minnick.
Hello, my name is Marion Minnick. I live at 1204 Watt Avenue, Drexel Hill. As I stated last week, and will continue to state, this investigation is being driven by disgruntled former mayor Tom Micozzi. And why do I say this? The person who first
Marion,
reached out to
sir,
attorney.
Sir, if it's not about what's on the,
Hold on one second. Stop time, please. Thank you.
okay. Okay.
Mr. Mimic, you have your time. I'm sorry for the interruption. Just wanted to get clarification from the solicitor.
You can start over again and get the full 3 minutes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. As I stated last week, and will continue to state, this investigation is being driven by disgruntled former mayor Tom Micozzi. And why do I say this? The person who first reached out to the Attorney Boggs' law firm in the first place was none other than Tom Micozzi, not Brian Burke or the rest of the Shameful Six. Bogg has confirmed this to be the case. Just think about this. Disgruntled former mayor Tom Micozzi, who took a political beating from Mayor Keffer in the last mayoral election, is now directing Brian Burke and the rest of the Shameful Six in this sham political investigation, where their attorney Boggs has
Please give
admitted
him his 3 minutes, please. Just let it go. Please.
that not a penny is missing. Brian Burke and the rest of the Shameful Six, AKA Micozzi's minions, have already broken the law in this sham political investigation by violating the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. And they want to fire hardworking people from their jobs when not a penny is missing. Their sham political investigation is the epitome of weak, weaker than Carson Wentz getting sacked 9 times. Tom Micozzi and Brian Burke are showing their extreme desperation, keeping consistent with the rest of their Republican Party. They have just given up on trying to win elections fair and square. Tom Micozzi is trying to claw back the nearly 1,000 votes that Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer clobbered him with in the last mayor election. When you think about it, it's kind of pathetic. Just know that every time that Brian Burke and the rest of the Shameful Six mention the word investigation, they're just trying to help poor, emasculated Tom Micozzi, who by his own actions is leading this investigation, has already concluded he will probably get his buttocks handed to him again by Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer if he does not employ deceit, trickery, and just straight up cheating. Tom Micozzi, in his own despicable way, is showing us how fearful he is to run against Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer again. After all, Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer has already accomplished more as mayor in 2 years' time than Tom Micozzi has accomplished in 10 years. And Mayor Keffer has done this during a devastating worldwide pandemic. So as Brian Burke and the rest of Micozzi's minions tried to cloud the argument with accounting terms that most of them don't even understand, Just remember, their own attorney Boggs has concluded not one penny is
Thank you,
missing.
Mr. Mimic. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to remind everybody,
Do you think that's fair? I couldn't even hear him.
okay.
Gavel me
What's
and
that?
gavel them.
I'm gaveling so I can speak.
Good. Only you.
Yeah, I'm going to speak. Next up, Secretary Belbs, thank you.
Next up is Myron McNeely.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? My name is Myron McNeely. I live 7116 Hilltop Road. I'm here today because I'm kind of puzzled. We went through an investigation, found no wrongdoing. There was a mention of $6 million missing. It wasn't missing. And now we're here trying to remove the CO? I don't get it. Would that lead to a lawsuit is what I'm wondering, because if it does, I don't think the taxpayers should be burdened with it. I think it should be the people that bring the lawsuit be burdened with it, which would be the people on council that supports it and push it, because this is really senseless to me. There's no money missing. And we already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing the investigation that basically found no wrongdoing. But now we're going to enable somebody to sue us if we fire them for no reason. And that's going to cost us a lot of money as taxpayers. And I don't think that's fair to us, you know? And I mean, Mr. Mimic here, he couldn't get his time to talk because people was talking over him and all of that. And everybody has a right to their freedom of speech. I mean, even the stuff Mr. Burt read off was actually in violation of your freedom of speech. He can't tell you how to talk in this council. He can't tell you how to express yourself. That's something that you are entitled to as in freedom of speech, you know? And I think we all need to find a way to respect one another. I mean, it's just like totally ludicrous that we're going to be dealing with a lawsuit. There's no way I wouldn't walk away and don't sue you. There's no way I would, you know? And I'm not even a lawyer. But I did see the young man that did the investigation for you guys, and he's really pissed with y'all. Because he told me himself, and I'm quoting him. He said, fuck y'all, I'm tired of them, they fucked up. Excuse my expression, listen, I'm only quoting what he said. This is what the man said to me.
You cannot
And
use
he
that
also
you
stated
cannot use that
that
language.
this is nothing but the old mayor still trying to be mayor. This is what he said to me, okay? And I'm just coming here to let y'all know that this is really ludicrous and it's wrong. It's totally wrong, you know? And we should be focusing on the white power grab that took place on this council. We should be focusing on the discrimination against people on this council. And if y'all don't believe me, this man here would be the president of council.
Stick to the agenda,
The only reason
sir.
why he's not is because he's black.
Stick to the agenda, sir.
So
Stick-
I'm
stick to
going
the-
there because that's where it's at.
Stick to the
That's where
agenda.
it's at, okay? But I mean, and again, I do have the right to my freedom of speech, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. People get up here all the time and say stuff I don't agree with, but I don't talk over them and I don't disrespect them because they're entitled to their opinion. And that's my opinion.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Olivia Taylor. Myron.
Olivia Taylor, 204 Kent. First and foremost, this investigation cost $25,000. Now, the people that they hired to cover it up was $134,000 for Markham, $96,000 for the YMC guy, and then,
Taylor?
sorry,
Would you
pause
like
my
to,
time.
would you like to start over again?
Yes,
Thank
because
you.
can
Ms.
you
Taylor,
put
Ms.
them
Taylor,
out?
Ms. Taylor,
Put 'em
Ms.
out.
Taylor, Ms. Taylor.
Put
Ms.
'em out.
Taylor, Ms. Taylor,
Put them out.
Ms. Taylor,
Thank you.
would you like to start over
I
again?
would love to start over.
And would you speak into the mic a little
sure
bit
will.
for me, Ms. Taylor? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm starting over, right? Right now, okay. As I stated, this investigation cost $25,000, okay? Markham, which was a total waste, is $134,000, only to cover up what happened here, okay? And this is my opinion, it's not proven. The first year Mayor Clifford got into that seat, not only destroyed Upper Darby Township, she ripped it off too. Her, Vince, and Allison. The reason why we didn't have no budget report for the first 2 years is because they took the budget and spent it and tried to use the ARPA funds to cover it up. That's what happened here. But see, what they didn't realize is that Megan Wagner and Brian Driscoll won the election. They wasn't counting on that. They wanted Tunis over here to be the president so he can slip the money right through. But see, God said no, okay? And they got caught. And this is what we're going to do until we throw him out of here. And at this point, I don't know why we're still here. Why is he here? And as he wrote from the Home Rule Charter, she does not have the authority to keep him. Now, if we need to go to court, then fine, we go to court. They spent the budget, people. Not only did they try to cover it up, you had a joke of a rally in here. You lied to the unions, you lied to union workers, you lied to the residents, and all in an attempt to cover this mess up. That's what you did. And you're still trying to push it. You're still trying to push it. Enough. It's over. We know what you did. Then you tried to use the ARPA funds, release the funds to cover up what they did. Every last one of them, all three of them should be in jail, right along with all of you for lying and getting the residents in here to do what they did. You got them in here under false pretenses. Now you got people up here talking about the Makosi 6. Oh, please, shut up. Okay, this guy just comes up here with his nonsense every meeting. That man is a resident for the past 2 years. And I'm sorry, he ran the township for 10. Not once did we have an investigation. Not once did our budget. All budgets for the past 10 years is on the damn website. Shut up. Shut up. Enough already. Throw him in jail. Councilwoman Faraglan, you said at the last meeting that all these documents should be submitted to the fraud department in Washington. Please submit them so we can be rid of her. I don't care about Republican. I don't care about Democrat. We are wasting our time in here tonight. We got what? How many officers are on the street tonight? And we in here wasting our time with this nonsense. How many officers and still working without a contract? But this is where we are tonight. 6, 7 out there now, wasting, putting their lives on the line while we in here dealing with this nonsense. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And as big as this township is, there's only 6 to 7 officers working, and we're in here wasting our time with this nonsense? Are you kidding me? All of y'all need to be ashamed of yourself. That includes you and you. You two mainly, little hands. Yes, you. Okay, and you, and you. Okay,
Taylor, stick to- Ms. Taylor, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Taylor.
Shut up, shut up.
Ms. Taylor, your time is up. Ms. Taylor, your time is up. Ms. Taylor, your time is up.
Doing this here, the
Ms.
parents says
Taylor-
a lot. The
Ms.
next time
Taylor,
you come in here,
Ms.
don't
Taylor,
get nappy head, okay?
your time is up.
President Burke, point of order. President Burke, point. President Burke, point of order. I have medium-sized hands.
For everybody that's in the, excuse me, for everybody that's in the audience, I don't want to remove people tonight, but another outburst, I will remove everybody that hasn't talked. So, please, Ms. Taylor and everybody else, please just, can we get through 3 or 4 more public forum? Please. Thank you.
Next is Celestine Marks.
Good evening. This is about my second time attending one of your meetings, and I came out here during the early spring.
Ms. Marks.
Hi,
can you-
yes.
Can you say your name and your
Oh, I'm
address,
sorry.
please?
I was just
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. My name is Celestine Marks. My address is 7018 Ruskin Lane. I've been in Upper Darby since 2004. I came from West Philadelphia. I remember coming to speak with you before in reference to the youth. My son and I, back in the early spring, we met with Ms. Darby, who invited us to come to a meeting in reference to implementing some youth programs up here that we did in West Philadelphia. Oh, and we met with Ms. Darby. She asked us for our information on how we implemented a lot of the programs that we did over in West Philadelphia. And still today, I haven't heard from her or no one in reference to the meeting. And the only reason why I'm concerned now is because of the gun violence that's going on in West Philadelphia and all over Philadelphia. And prayerfully, it doesn't, spill over here. I don't believe that a lot of people are saying it's lack of programming or other different things. The police department is being to blame for a lot of different things. But like I always said,
Excuse me one second.
yes.
I don't want to take your First Amendment rights away. Are you referring to the agenda tonight?
I don't know. I was invited out here to come out here tonight. I was told that this was going to be a different meeting. So I texted the person and said, should I be here? And she said, yes, they'll come and speak on
So
the youth. So I
this is a special,
Okay.
special meeting pertaining to the motion on the floor tonight. But what district? 7th district? 6th district? So Councilman Siddiq, get the information.
I'm very discouraged right now in reference to wanting to do anything. I've been called back to West Philly to do some things and all over Philadelphia. But if I'm going to meet with someone, I'm hoping that is for results as opposed to taking information and using it for something else, because the youth is very important.
This is a meeting for a
Okay.
special meeting, and that's your Councilman Siddiq and Vice President.
I have these
So
cards.
October, hopefully you meet with one of the council people before October 12th.
Yeah.
And you can give us the information on October
And
12th.
how you doing, Miss Calvary? We belong to Calvary?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marks. Next is Tim Tunstra.
Tim Tunstra, 610 Foss Avenue, Drexel Hill. I want to address 881A on the agenda. I'll be honest, it's difficult to even think of anything that could potentially be constructive. I honestly believe, and I mentioned this before, you have now had different investigations that compete with one another for the credibility of people who attend these meetings and the township at large. You have two different opinions on the issue of whether Mr. Rangione should be or has forfeited his position. You have two different opinions on every attempt you've made to resolve the issue, none of which has resolved in anything successful. The bottom line is the way that you all are running Township Council is ridiculous. You all ought to step down out of embarrassment. Now, last week's meeting, a young lady stood here and gave a long presentation during which she pointed out the fact that she had different information that some of you wanted to hear, but she was more than willing to meet with the other people who conducted the investigation that Mr. Boggs took care of. Now, you could try and think of something that makes sense. But the idea of firing the CAO because you disagree with him and you've prevented nothing by way of proof that he is in any way incompetent is ridiculous. You should call it a day. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next is Jeffrey Jones.
Good evening, Jeffrey Jones, 602 Foss Avenue. I almost think I should take the 3 minutes and just let us all take a breath, take a step back, maybe. Last week I saw cooperation happening here, right? I saw Mr. Heyman get up, go over to Brian, and they worked something out, and an ordinance got passed. Tonight, I hear a lot of frustration, we'll call it. So in regards to this investigation and the motion on the floor tonight, I trust that those who brought this investigation did it in the best interest of the people of Upper Darby Township. I trust that what I've read and have demonstrated that there is an issue in the CAO's office. And in the real world, when there's an issue with somebody and their ability or inability to do their job, and that gets called into question, it gets addressed, it gets dealt with to the benefit of whatever your job is, the company, the people that you work with, so forth. In this case, you all swore an oath in January when you took these seats to serve the people of Upper Darby Township. So I ask you that the name calling stop, that the yelling, screaming, talking over one another and all the other issues that I've witnessed here this evening cease, and that we serve the people, not a district, not a party, but the people in its entirety of Upper Darby Township. We end this issue by doing what you voted to do. The CAO has forfeited his job. I feel for him, I feel for his family. But the people of Upper Darby need to be served. This body is the legislative arm of Upper Darby Township. You have a job to do. Serve the people of Upper Darby. Let's get this over with so you can do that. You've already shown you can work together. You can get things done. So let's get this done and then get to the business of the people. That's all that I ask. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is David Dryden.
Good evening, council members. David Dryden, 1114 Barmont Road. I don't know if I could put it any more eloquently than what Jeff just put it. However, and I won't address the fact that a lot of repetitive things were said tonight. I, at this point, do not understand. Well, I understand. It's because of, the fact is that according to the charter, the CAO forfeited his position. I also, doing some research on the charter, realized that the mayor is very close to forfeiting her job because she's not following through on what the charter says is that. I really don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, independent, a cartoon, whatever. The bottom line is the people of Upper Darby are not being served. The pettiness and the, oh, well, what did they do before? What did we do now? The bottom line is this township is in dire straits. We can't pay bills. We can't, the crime is up. The streets are dirty. There's homeless. All this should be addressed, and it can't be because of the bickering. And so I don't care who you are, where you come from, whether you're Republican, Democrat. The fact of the matter is we need to straighten this out. One of the reasons it's in the state it's in is because there are people that are not qualified to do their jobs. And like I said, I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat. The bottom line is people in these positions, the CAO, and now I'm questioning the mayor and their administration are not qualified to run a township. And it's shown over the last 2 years. So all I ask is let's get this done, because now the mayor, who says she's all about the township, is wasting more township money because she won't do what's right. So I ask you to do what's right, and let's move forward. Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Next up is myself. I feel the passion in the room. Sometimes it's the same people. Mr. Dryden, Mr. Jones, Tim. We do have a job together to do. Last week, I thought it was great. Councilman Tunis, you came over. Councilman Hammond, you walked over. Michelle, Councilwoman Wagner, getting some things done. I'm looking to move forward over the next couple ordinances with, everybody to free some more money up. And I think last week was the start of going back and forth. So maybe we can do a few other things. Councilman Tunis, I'll talk to you before the meeting about some issues, and talk to Councilman Heyman and Vice President Wentz and everybody. So it was a good meeting last week. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. So that's all I got to say. Sure, Councilman Tunis.
Yeah, thank you, President Burke, for the monologue. But I would just ask if you can just stay true to your word. When I asked you last meeting, if you're going to schedule a meeting to consult all of council, that was not done again. This is the last time you and I have this conversation, and I don't expect you to lie to my face again.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to answer that, Councilman Tunis. So of what I've realized over the last couple months, this used to be the council room. It's a room used by the administration. I have no idea when this room is booked or not booked. I sent an email Monday morning to say if the room is available, would you please book it? That was at 6:30 or 6:05 in the morning to Alexis when I pulled up at my job. I still didn't know till 10 when Alexis got in, did her work, and got back to me that the room was available. Well, I'm just saying, I do have a day job, okay? So I asked in an email to reserve the room on Wednesday if it was available. I did know there was a zoning on Tuesday. So when you got the notice, everybody else got the notice, so.
Yeah, and they may be fine with that, but I'm not. And what I would suggest is, before you even think about scheduling a meeting, ask council members their schedules. This was not a scheduled meeting week. And when I asked you last week, Vice President once said she'll do the same, and it was not done.
So,
and there's other things that weren't done in the process. So if that's the case, I'm not going to blame Alexis. I think you're the council president.
Yeah.
It's your obligation to give us ample notification, so we can just be prepared.
Yeah, that's fine. I was not blaming anything on Alexis. I sent the email in the morning. Just want to clarify that I sent the email Monday morning, okay? Yeah, I would like to have everybody here. We were available by Zoom on meetings. And, if this was our room and our room only, they would have to ask council for permission to book the room. But it's not that way. So I'm at the mercy of sending an email, looking to find if it's available. That's all I'm at the mercy of. And yes, the email went out as soon as it was booked. So I will try to do better. We will have conversations. We always have conversations. So I will try to do better. So Councilman Heyman.
I think just to build on what Councilman Tunis is saying, it's not the timing and the notification of the public meeting. I don't think that was necessarily inappropriate. I get it. You did it Monday morning, and I'm not questioning that story. The problem is that the public notice was sent out to the newspaper, which is, I think, what you're referring to, but the concern is that the agenda wasn't sent out to council members until afternoon yesterday. I don't really understand why this agenda, which has one item for us to discuss outside of meeting minutes, couldn't have just been sent to us when you announced the public meeting. I believe that's in keeping with prior practice. Could be mistaken there. I got a lot of upset phone calls about it from people. And I think that based on some of the dynamics and things that have been going on previously, there was an assumption, and I fall into this myself sometimes, of assuming guilt or assuming nefarious behavior. It's not always true. I recognize that. I think what Councilman Tunis is asking, what I'm also asking, is to please send out meeting agendas, not when the last moment occurs, but when the meeting subject is decided.
Understood. Councilwoman Blackwell.
I have a question for clarification for the public record. How many days should the agenda be sent out? Just for the public's record. The question is, how many days for the public should the agenda be sent out?
24-hour notice before the meeting.
Okay.
Go ahead. So, Alexis, go ahead.
Okay, per the Home Rule Charter, the agenda just needs to be available to the public by noon the day before the advertised meeting. The meeting was advertised in more than enough time per the Home Rule Charter and the Sunshine Act. And as far as the Home Rule Charter, it specifically says that the agenda needs to be available to the public, which it was by 10 o'clock in the morning because it's on the counter in the council office. It doesn't say that it needs to be posted online. It says available to the public. It was and always has been available in the council office.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Blackwell, does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. So we're going to go to 7.0. I believe the mayor is not on, but I will double check. Okay. So we'll move back to committee reports 8.0, 8.1, Finance Appropriation Committee, Chairwoman, Vice President Laura Wentz.
Thank you. Members of the committee are Councilman Silva, Councilwoman Wagner, and Councilman Andrusko. We have a motion to authorize the Special Solicitor of Law Offices of Mark Munch, PC, to file for a declaratory judgment with the Court of Common Pleas of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, to enforce the vote of Upper Darby Township Council forfeiting the office of the Chief Administrative Officer on September 21st, 2022. I'd like to make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So Councilman Andrusko, second. So we have a first by Vice President Wentz and second by Councilman Andrusko. Any comments, council? Councilman Heyman, go ahead.
I want to address something that was said. Look, obviously, we already know how this vote was going to go, and we probably would have known on about February 8th how this vote was going to go. The reason we're here tonight is not necessarily because the administration didn't comply with our request. I don't think it's quite clear at all that council has the ability to do this. The foundation of our democracy is built on a separation of powers, that there needs to be an agreement, a check, and a balance. A radical council can't legislate the executive branch, and a radical executive can't control the legislative branch. that might not lead to getting work done, but I think that's the way our country was founded. And I think it's what our home rule charter, which isn't always clear in a lot of ways, says. Now, maybe a judge will disagree with me, and I submit that a judge may, and that's fine. As I said to you all months ago, a judge will decide how this goes. How or why that judge will decide it, I don't know. What I can say is that I don't believe this is an appropriate action of council. I don't believe council has the right to unilaterally find that the CAO or any township employee has forfeited their position. I'm not saying that because I expect it to change any of your minds. I think that this has already happened. But to be clear, the reason that we're voting on this tonight, on September 28th, is because the last time this was done, and it was already done, it was done without a vote in a public meeting, which turned out to be breaking the law, and it's what a judge found. So that's why we're here now, almost 4 months after the initial motion was made. I wish we hadn't wasted the public's time and we had just taken a public vote as I requested at the first meeting in July. I believe I also addressed it at the second meeting in June. But I'm glad that we're taking it now, and I'm glad that this will finally go to the court and it can be decided.
So just to be clear, as far as Article 5, Chief Administrative Officer, Section C, so it's Section 501, subsection C, forfeit of office. The Chief Administrative Officer shall forfeit his offer if he, 1, lacks at any time during his term of office any qualification for the office as prescribed by this charter or by law. 2, willfully violates any express substantive prohibition of this charter. 3, is convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude. So 3 does not apply. 1 and 2 was the original motion, the motion made by Councilwoman Wagner that was voted on at the last meeting. So those were the 2 that we were looking at. And the reason for council's approving the motion at the 21st meeting. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Vice President Wentz. Going around the table. All right. Any other comments from council? All right, so I'm going to call for a roll call vote. Secretary Phillips.
Sure. This is to forfeit CAO
To-
position. Yeah.
To approve
file
the
it,
motion.
To file it, yeah. Yep. Counselor Hayman,
No.
Counselor Blackwell,
No.
Counselor Andrewska,
Yes.
Counselor Siddiq,
No.
Counselor Faralia,
Yes.
Counselor Silver,
Yes.
President Burke,
Yes.
Secretary Phillips is a no. Counselor Wagner,
Yes.
Counselor Tunis,
No.
and Vice President Wentz.
Yes.
6 to 5.
6 to 5. Thank you. Seeing no other questions, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You can't make a motion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I-
First and second.
Second.
All right, 7:45, meeting's over. All those in favor? Aye. Matt?
And Blackwell. Yeah. And Faralia.
Lisa,
Lisa.
can you stay 1 second, please?